I was talking to Muskie Bet actually yesterday during the leader interviews, and he was saying how he kind of likes to play a Guardian Druid similar to a Feral Druid in some ways. He goes for those 5-point bites, so maybe they're gonna kind of take that approach and kind of play almost like a rogue at some points in this game. Muskie Bet getting 5 points, waiting for hopefully a landslide proc, and then just hitting someone for their entire health pool. So that could possibly be something that they pull out. Muskie Bat is also saying that he really likes targeting BM monks as a Guardian Druid. So going to this mid fight, we might be expecting to see Muskie Bat putting out some damage, but he might just actually pick up the flag. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing.
I would look for Muskie Bet probably to go with an open route onto one of their front line, or maybe open up onto a healer and then start the team fight. And Yorkie's charging in here, trying to get some Ren pressure up, just getting on the... And here you can see Muskie Bat already getting points up on Trillmatics right now, and they're looking to swap over here. OG Lith getting caught in a full wild charge route. Muskie Bat's in front right now. Their team's just trying to put some pressure out. Old Man Carr getting a Crusader, looking for Rens on the back line right now, and it's going even in mid. OG Lith getting caught with a bubble there. So much damage coming out, and Yorkie pushing into the back line right now, just trying to find some extra Ren pressure. The longer this team fight goes, the more in favor in Muskie Bat. As a bear root comes out on Trillmatics, the guys is forced. Warstomp coming out, trying to get this kill onto the Priest. If they can land a kill, they'll snowball the mid, but right now Starter doing a good job at keeping Trillmatics up and out of the mix.
And Muskie Bat came in with the 5-point bite. He went into cap form. He saw his opportunity to take down that healer. So yeah, they just kind of just tunneled that Priest. I don't think he had his spectral guys available. Not that it would have mattered because there's so much AoE from this team, but really good job. And it does look like, yeah, they're going to be wiping up Starter with that kill onto the Disc Priest. So yeah, excellent opener.
Lenny is trying to get across the field, and I think he's going to get punished for it because his team just got fully wiped here. He's running over to Manny. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. Regardless if he makes it, I just think it's going to be a chain wipe and a cap here for Ozymandias. He's trying to go only if to pass up. That's the only way he can live here, and he actually did get through. I can't believe that.
Yeah, he saved his Displacer Beast, used it perfectly right as the Boomkin was start surging, was able to get out of range of the Boomkin, passes up to that Disc Priest. And now Lenny's trying to get around, perhaps getting... he's going to get cut off really quick by Muskie Bat. Muskie Bat seeing that Lenny's trying to go around. So really good job by Muskie Bat and the Boomkin. Lenny's actually going to live. He did get Star Surge, but he's going to go up the tunnel. And I'm guessing he's just going to go get the flag from his Disc Priest.
Now, I think one of the hard parts... I think it was a little bit of a mistake letting that FC across. I don't think they got pressure on him early enough. Like, the FC just ran like halfway across the field and then didn't even have to use his Displacer till then. We'll have to watch right now, though, because they are kind of getting chain wiped. Watch for Bergphobia to get pushed onto here. They're maybe looking to pass up. It looks like they don't get the flag quite where it needs to be for the pass up. So Bergphobia has to pick it back up again, and Lenny Druid's going to drop back down to the GY. The hard part about this is when you're running against a Guardian Warrior team, is they can just chain wipe you in GY if they can keep their Guardian and the Warrior up there. And you can see right now the Starter's just trying to regroup. They're in the corner of the GY. They pass it over to Lenny. If they can push out here as a team, they can start getting a better look, and they're in a great position to do that, being on top of their GY.
Yeah, I wonder how many stacks or how many combo points Muskie Bat has. I mean, he's in an excellent position, and almost perfect position to go into his FC when he gets those 5 points. So I'm guessing, in a little bit, we're going to see Muskie Bat building some combo points and getting ready to just leap on top of Lenny Druid and one-shot him with a ferocious bite.
Yeah, and like you said, he's trying to get this pressure up really early now, but it seems like Starter has just about their whole team up with the OG list, so they're going to have to find a way to get enough pressure out here, or maybe consider backing out. The stacks really aren't that high, and you can see Lenny Druid's in a position where they really can't commit in as melee DPS because it's going to be out of range of the healers, or open up an opportunity for the healers of Ozymandias to get dove on by Starter. So you can see, once again, this is something that I was talking about before the game, that Starter, when they do fall behind in mid, they do a really good job at just literally sitting there and going full turtle mode and hiding. And you can see they're getting dove on to mid right now. Malphina's taking a ton of damage, trying to back off.
And it looks like Starter has stabilized quite a bit, although the Warrior on Starter is taking a bit of damage. Same with OG Lith. OG Lith just got charged up. I think they should be fine. The Warrior is actually dropping quite a bit. Bergphobia actually getting cut off right now, taking some damage up top from the GY, I believe. I do believe one of the Hunters might have cut him off or is trying to go around. Yeah, Ebu is up top right now. He is trying to just get some damage out from on top of the GY. So right now, Lenny's just sitting on top of GY. I don't know where Muskie Bat is. Muskie Bat is just getting some combo points. I think that in just a moment, especially when the 6 stacks hits, we're going to see Muskie Bat in that GY once again, getting ready to ferocious bite Lenny Druid.
This is a big moment here. It's to me, whoever wins this team fight is if Ozymandias wins this team fight in midfield right now, as they barely catch Lith, they're gonna have a really good opportunity to push on the FC. So it's up to Starter right now to try to find some pressure and get a healer kill because they have pressure up top from Ozymandias and they have two druids that can jump up and hit Lenny here, who is in his GY at this point. So Muskie Bat in the back of the team, trying to get some combo points onto Carr right now, taking a lot of pressure. Starter having a hard time finding the backline of Ozymandias, who are doing a great job at positioning way behind their team and having them Guardian Druid just as an extra frontline in mid. Oh, sniped! KB to Starter. Here they go for the push. I think one thing I was going to say, though, I think having the Guardian in midfield is just nice for an extra frontline body. It's a little bit intimidating, I think, for Starter to run through.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like a distraction. It's a target that's pretty much always there, but it doesn't die quite easily. You have to invest a lot to kill a Guardian Druid. I do believe that tanks only take increased damage when they're holding the flag, but I might be wrong on that. But yeah, he's going to have like a really high health pool. So basically, what Starter has to do is they have to go through 5k HP of Muskie Bat. Meanwhile, he's spreading damage. So that Guardian Druid, it provides like a nice shield, like meat shield for his team. There is a Hunter battle actually going on in ramp that Ibu just won. So Ibu is going to be pushing up probably for Ozymandias, looking to maybe get some pressure onto Lenny Druid from on top of the graveyard. And if he wants to do that, he needs to do that soon because Bird Phobia is just going to be rezzing. But we might see a little bit of pressure being put onto Lenny Druid in just a moment from this Hunter.
And Ibu's coming in here, and this forces Manny out of the team fight, which is great because maybe it gives Ozymandias here a chance to get a kill in midfield now that they're fully grouped once again. So Manny having to respect the Hunter being back there, has to play back. Berg Phobia as well, too, staying back. So Manny trying to head back into midfield, recognizing that the Hunter's not really a threat right now to get back into the team fight and heal this mid push. I like this position almost for both teams because if Ozymandias can just snowball a kill, they're going to be up in the GY. But at the same time, it feels pretty safe for Starters. So to me, like whichever team gets the first kill here is really going to have, I think, a very fast advantage. I think it's going to snowball quickly.
And as you're saying that, Trailmatics is the focus of a lot of damage. He does get lusted out by his BM Monks. A really good job by Starter getting their Disc Priest out of there. I'd be a bit concerned about Trailmatics mana, but I guess the Leaf is going to go to the Resto Shaman. So yeah, that's one of the things. The healer mana actually on Ozymandias isn't so hot right now. Ardo's almost doomed. Beat this almost soon. Zione's at half mana. So if you're Ozymandias right now, I think you need to really make an aggressive move in just a little, like in a few moments, because your healers are going and right now Starter has control of that relief hut. And so again, if you're Ozymandias, I think right now is the time to push before your healers go
A really interesting fact that I just thought of right now is that Scope's sitting on top of the GY, and in terms of like his positioning, it's great. He's not really a threat to his team. But I just thought about it, his Bear Pet's not there, which is really like crappy for their front line. That's very heavy front line, missing that stamina buff. And it prevents them from diving a lot here, and they're having trouble actually getting this pressure as they're riding Muskie Bat right now. EPH breaking off. He has to respect Berg Phobia going across the field, who's actually giving him a hard time. It's going to really come down to a Scope Rock here. Lenny Druid taking some damage, though. He's going to be okay. They do top him up. Ibu on top of him right now. They're trying to get some backside pressure. Look for Muskie Bat maybe to push in here. Ibu jumping off, trying to get back into his team, trying to catch a bubble. He's so low. It looks like he's not going to catch the bubble, so the backside pressure is completely gone. They should be okay for now. Berg Phobia coming up the ramp right now, running at Scope at 12 stacks. EPH trying to battle him off. They're both at half health. It's a really close fight. EPH, 130 health. The Star Surge coming off onto Berg Phobia. Can he get one more dot on him? Nice. He does go down. Really close play because Scope's sitting there with 13 stacks. Probably in his loins.
That was really important that F won that 1v1. On that could have been really bad news, especially if Berg Phobia would have got a bandage after that 1v1, definitely been able to 1v1 the Hunter with 13 stacks. Right now, F's got a restealth with that Berserker buff. He is heading towards Lenny Druid, so he might be seeing a Star Surge opener. It's enough stacks to where a Star Surge might not one-shot, but if he has combo points at all, it's going to be very scary for Lenny Druid. Lenny Druid switching into an HP set, it looks like, topping himself off, but I think we're going to see an opener perhaps by F in a moment. It does look like he's like turning around a bit, but Lenny Druid's pretty much all alone, and so we might be seeing an opener in just a moment.
Something that happened there in the back over by the Alliance Resto Hut is that Ibu got caught by Bergphobia there, and where you saw Deputy doubling back for just a second, he actually missed being able to go over there and help Blackout on that Hunter, and I think if they would have coordinated that, they might have been able to get away with a bandage and just a rejuve and kill him, and they would have had more backside pressure, but instead, now you see Trillmatics and both Hunters for starter going up the ramp right now, backsiding Scope, who had to jump into the midfield fight.
And F's Berserker buff has fallen. So not being able to get an opener. Beat is actually rising behind his team. Lenny Druid taking a bit of damage from this Boomkin and Disc Priest. Lenny Druid should be okay unless I don't think F has combo points. Really good job by his team sort of peeling this opener. But Lenny Druid is still taking some damage with the Hunters not attacking him. He certainly will be going down. There he's going to die with F getting the return.
And checking out this replay here, we see that the backside there coming into the FC, it looks like he's going to be okay, but the sustained pressure by the Hunters pushing up to help Deputy and the team pushing up. Notice that Scope even drops the flag and helps get in on that kill, so a great finish to that play. Good transition by Ozymandias. Look for them to try to snowball a cap here.
Yeah,
I think the biggest thing that stood out there was that actually Scope dropped the flag to get in on that play, so it like gave them a little extra momentum and an extra person in the play. And it was a good play because they had the people backsiding them from the top of GY there. So I like to see that from Ozzy.
It looks like Scope's just going for a quick cap. They didn't cap the flag there. I mean, perhaps, I don't know if they're going to be able to get the quick cap. Lenny Druid is making his way across the field. Both of these Druids are in stealth, so if Scope just runs to the base, it's going to be a cap. It looks like he doesn't see that. So Snug and Lenny Druid are going to be able to get into the base. Actually, Scope heading there now, so if Scope makes it into the base, into the tunnel specifically before these Druids, it should be a free cap, unless... Okay, never mind. So Phobia did pick up the flag. I'm completely blind. But anyway, yeah, so it looked like it was going to be a quick cap for a moment, but I didn't see that Phobia had picked up the flag.
Well, what just happened in mid there was really nice because they sent back the two Hunters and Deputy, and there were two Druids sitting in stealth, and they're actually able to pick the Hunter on the side, and they might get this Boomkin or at least force him back into the team fight. So that's good. They're able to get one of the Hunters down, so the Boomkin, or excuse me, the Resto Druid and Bergphobia are going to be sitting in top of the base. Now, one thing here that is going to be watching for is to see what Ozymandias decides to do here, right? Because there's two stacks. I'll be interested to see if they decide that they want to go put the pressure on them, which it looks like they might be doing right now, sending Muskie Bat and the Hunters back. So they're going to go, it looks like, for the aggressive push before stacks hit to try to put the pressure on. I'm interested that they actually send Muskie Bat here rather than the Boomkin. I would feel like you'd want your Guardian there, but maybe Muskie's got his points ready to go and he wants to get in. He may be combat bugging with the Hunters while he's going across.
Yeah, and I like this play because it's a perfect time to do this as well because Starter has just been wiped. They're going to be resing in just a moment, but right now they have enough like map. They have the map positioning advantage. The healers from Starter aren't able to connect onto, or they won't be able to connect onto Lenny Druid. So I don't think Lenny Druid has a healer with him besides himself. And so if they're able to connect, if Ozymandias is able to connect on Lenny, it could be loads of trouble for him.
I like this positioning here. I think that if Starter plays it very patient, or if Scope overcommits, which it looks like he overcommits, Manny's able to get behind the side because both the Hunters won for the play for Ozymandias. I think that was very rushed by Ozymandias. I think it was poorly handled. I think their Hunters really... Scope took himself out of the play by going up ramp, and it was a free cross for Lenny. And because they took so much time to get into the play, it allowed Manny and some other players from Starter to get over there to assist Lenny Druid. But he is getting kind of like caught by Deputy here, but I don't think anything's going to happen of it because their team's starting to get pushed.
Yeah, Ozzy's starting to wipe, and their whole team's pretty much dead, and the important members of their team are dead. So yeah, with that sort of map displacement, offensively, it actually caused them to wipe in the enemy team's GY. So yeah, kind of a bit rushed, as you said, by Ozymandias. Especially the Hunters positioning, they kind of just went. They all went the same way. And I don't think that's really smart. If you split where you go, you can cover more exit routes. And so, really rushed by Ozymandias, and that caused them to wipe for the moment. But it looks like Starter's just trying to regain their positioning and maybe try to contain. As it looks like the Hunters are going up a ramp right now. Is a pretty good time to do that. It looks like they might be doing some pushes onto the EFC.
And I love this decision by Starter because they recognize what do they have up there and what can we send up that will make them force down. And 2 hunters and a priest is enough with a hunter FC and not having a healer up top. That's plenty to send Ozymandias into mid here. So a lot of pressure on Ozymandias to try to get snowball some kills. And if Starter can just maintain until they get some backside pressure here, they'll be in a good spot. But Lith is going down in mid. Malfina drops in mid. So Ozymandias executed really quickly, and they should be okay unless the back push here goes unnoticed by Trillmatics and the hunters coming in. But it looks like they'll be okay for now.
Yeah, and Scope just took a little bit of damage from that warrior. He should be okay as he finishes off the kill onto Trillmatics. Trillmatics taking a ton of damage. That actually could have, Ozymandias or Scope, I'm sorry, could have actually been in trouble if those hunters that had been chasing him from GUI would have gone straight to him. I don't know where the hunters went. Pretty much the only one who pressured Scope was that warrior. But if both the hunters had been connecting with 9 stacks, I mean, that's very difficult to survive, 2 hunters and a warrior.
I think one thing that really opened up that play for Ozzy there was Starter's aggression to be up really close in the team fight in GY. And then Warstorm coming up by Snug. They're trying to go for the one shot. It looks like he's sustained for now. Snug coming out of the shadows, dropping his points. He should be okay, but they just got to wipe him up here really quickly. Doesn't look like there's any healers in the play, so they are going to get it. Close call. I think that this is where you get to see the struggles of not having a Resto Druid FC. And it's great. Like, it's nice versatility in the sense that you can give it to a Druid, you can give it to a Hunter, and you have different options. But when it comes to, like, cuts, and really, I think one of the most overrated things about a Resto Druid FC is having off healers for your objective players. So, like, your Hunters in the back when they're contesting that. Because look at this. Berg Phobia is now in the back by the Horde GY, and I think he's going to get away here. Just a little bit extra pressure, a little bit extra healing. He might.
But as you say that, Lenny Druid actually goes down. The FC of Starter dying, and yeah, he was just getting pushed off of his own GY. And really good job by Ozymandias. They sent a little offensive team to cut off Lenny Druid, or to attack Lenny Druid, and he was forced to just fall off that GY, and he did go down. And Ardo getting the repick, or the return. So I think this should possibly be a cap for Scope. He is getting cut off by looks like a hunter pet at the moment. I think he should be able to get into his base right now. Snug is trying to go around and pick up this flag. Ibu is actually cutting off one of the members of Starter from getting into the base. But yeah, I do think this is going to be a cap for Scope. I don't know. Let me see if Snug's in front of him. Yeah, Snug isn't in front of him anymore. Snug just opting to pick up the Zerker. So it looks like this is going to be a cap. I don't think anyone's in front of him.
Don't think that they're sending enough people to commit to this. They sent a lot of people up tunnel. And they got Lenny the flag. He's got Snug and Manny there. It looks like that Ozymandias once again kind of rushed the play and got chain wiped in mid from Starter's GY res and almost took themselves out of that play.
Yeah, that was interesting. This game might actually go to 0-0. I don't know. Right now, I don't... If Lenny's team just decides to go roof, they can probably live up there for 2 minutes. The entire team of Ozymandias is on their side of the field. So I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm guessing, both teams are kind of thinking maybe we should turtle, it looks like. Lenny is actually taking some pressure right now from Deputy F. He's forced to use his Displacer Beast into his team, and he is going to meet his team. I think he should be fine. F, though, it looks like he has some damage, possibly with some Cat Form stacks. He is going to be casting some Star Surges into Lenny Druid, but I think Lenny Druid should be okay. Taking a lot of damage, although Scope actually goes down, dying to...
Snug returned the flag!
Getting the return by Snug.
Left.
Yeah, so
with the flag here right now, trying to get his stacks. He's just trying to pull these DPS away from the healers right now. Starter doing everything that they can to chain wipe Ozymandias. You see Deputy going up the ramp for the flag. They've committed away from midfield at this point. But Ozymandias still has a lot of presence here in midfield. They're going to have to be quick, and he uses this Displacer over into midfield, and Lenny does go down there. Ugh, unfortunate. That's the word of Musky Bad. And going into the replay here, you see Snug getting the return in the background over in Ozzyland, and in the midfield fight, a lot of damage going into Lenny. He kind of displacers back into the midfield. Like I would try to keep pulling and moving towards tunnel and drag Ozymandias up there, make it difficult, and put yourself in a position to cap there. I think like on the initial push, which was great actually, I didn't even recognize Musky Bad was in the play there, which was a great look for them. I think in the initial opener, they probably could have snagged a few more kills on Ozymandias if they were kiting towards their base rather than Lenny kiting into midfield. It kind of him kiting into midfield kind of made it available for Muskie, for Ibu, and for Deputy to fall back into their healers in midfield and really sustain that mid look.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a tie game. There wasn't much time at the end of that game. We're going to look at the scoreboard really quick. Again, excellent performance by Yorkie. And I did receive word. Nick KO was telling me that Yorkie gets lusted quite a bit, so that's why he's able to do all this damage. So his team recognizing that if they're able to keep Yorkie mobile, he's able to do a ton of damage, and he's did nearly 400k damage that game. But on starter's side, Old Man Carr and Snug doing quite a bit of damage. The typical, we've seen this over and over and over. Boomkin Warrior, usually the highest damage. So really good, really well played by both teams. Some exciting moments, some interesting FC cross kills, especially at the end there.
Oh, I think Muskie's team threw the game. I thought Starter did a really good job at first. Like I thought Starter was putting the pressure on Ozymandias for making like good moves, and unfortunately the good move for them was turtling, so it doesn't like look good on paper. But I thought they put them in hard situations. But at the end there, I think if they just fully commit, they sent like 5 people up tunnel, and I understand you're getting GY, like you're getting you're getting wiped in mid and chain wipe, but at the same time it's like, can we at least send like 1 hunter up ramp and kill him with 12 stacks? Like, yeah, I think they're gonna look back on that game and really wish that they had the momentum to get a cap there and at least make it 1-0.
Yeah, and again, like so what you're saying is like they need to cover more ground with their hunters instead of just kind of committing everyone to one location. Yeah, I mean that's something that I think comes with a lot of experience. Some of the smarter, well coordinated hunters of some of these teams do a really good job at just covering as much area in the base when they're going for those FC kills. So if they're able to clean that up a bit, that might be the difference next game.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're playing, so from Ozymandias' standpoint, I feel like, looking back at that game, I feel like Ozymandias probably could have won that game 1-0. There was good looks and bad looks, right? Like I love Scope dropping the flag and then them diving Lenny in midfield. Like that was a great look, and that's a great heads up play. But then like at the same time, at the very, like 3 or 4 minutes left, when they decided to go back at 12 or 13 stacks, they committed like 5 people up tunnel just in 1 person up ramp. Like
so when Scope did that, did the flag just get returned by the game? Was it a time thing or what? So he dropped the flag to get out some pressure. Yeah. Did someone on? Sure. I didn't see who returned it. So I mean, it was a smart play. If it would have been, if they had been able to get a cap off of that, but they try to get some weird, obscure like quick cap thing going. But Bergophobia was able to pick the flag. So, I mean, it was smart by Scope, but it wasn't smart enough because plays like that are really risky, and you gotta like do those things with purpose. But
I like the intent on the play. I think it was the right intent. It was the follow-up that wasn't there for me. So him dropping the flag and them mongoing the FC, and Scope's presence was definitely noticed when they killed Lenny there, because if Deputy on the prowl opened up, and then he was about to go down, but Scope came in the play, guns blazing, and helped finish that kill on Lenny. The problem was the transition, right? Because that was the time where we saw, I believe, one of the hunters or Lenny get the repick, and then they sent Muskie and the 2 hunters back, and he just ran across the field after that. So it was more so the transition than anything, because they actually got a team wipe off of that. So I guess from both teams' standpoints right now, probably both teams are biting their nails a little bit there, probably a little bit frustrated, because I think both teams had multiple opportunities to cap. I would say more so Ozymandias than Starter. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to see. I think that both teams will probably play the same comps. You know,
Yeah,
after a
and
0-0 game like that, it's kind of like we want to enforce your will. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to be the first ones to win the next game. Like, you change your comp.
yeah, and one of the things I think Muskie's team could do better at is you said like starter gets pretty comfortable just sitting in their GY. I do think like when Muskie had them pushing their GY and Yorkie and Muskie were up there, I think they could have gotten a kill on Lenny like with a 5-pointer. I think it was like 2 or 3 stacks at that time, so not crazy amounts of stacks. But when it comes to 4 stacks, like I think you can get a kill with just a single ferocious bite. And one of the things I remember we did, one of our strategies in last year's Twin Cup is if we're in a team's GY pressuring their FC, what we would do is we would have the warrior just try to throw a rend on the FC, wait a while, and as the rend expires, just charge in and mortar strike, and hopefully that would be enough damage. So I think they could have done something like similar like that because they had the warrior in the GY. It's if you play safe as a melee in that position, if you play safe as a warrior, you can. I mean, it's pretty easy to live. I mean, you need to break that threshold of getting past the fence and getting back behind the fence to your healers. But that fence is like a bit of invincibility, at least momentarily. So I think Muskie probably could have got some stacks or some combo points, and then gone for a 5-point bite when he got a landslide proc.
I'll tell you what, an interesting thing to think about. The fence has changed so much, like in terms of what's going on in 19 Warsong Gulch, and that happened this expansion. I think we forget sometimes, like this expansion for 19 Twinks has been like the best expansion so far in terms of like pre-mades. Like there's probably been more pre-mades this expansion than like every other expansion combined. Like if I had to put money on it. Now in terms of like actual guild versus guild pre-mades, probably not. But in terms of like overall like real IDs and games and war games, there's been a lot of games this expansion, and I would say that the fence has really changed what the scene has looked like. Whereas like once they implemented the 25-second res, which I think also happened this expansion, that you just were able to chain teams in the GY. Like I remember notoriously we used to play Guardian at the beginning of the expansion before people realized that like Resto Druid, oh hey, Resto Druid's taking 25% less damage. Like everyone would play Guardian at the beginning. Do you remember that, Moran?
Yeah.
And like you would just run up in the enemy teams. Like once you were dominating a team in pre-mades, like it was really hard to reverse. But having that fence there, I love it. It makes the game so much more dynamic, and it allows for the game to swing back and forth, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Warsong Gulch graveyard has changed like multiple times. Back in vanilla BC, it was the same level as like the very top. Like it didn't go down. It was just like a single like plateau from the base. And then I don't remember when, but then they lowered the GY slightly. They made it dip down a bit. And then this expansion, they did give it that fence, and that fence has changed the game dramatically because it is complete line of sight if you use it properly. It looks like we're gonna have to restart this game. I think we need to queue. We need to queue teams on the other side, and yeah, that's one of the rules we have in this tournament, just to kind of keep it as fair as possible. Once a team has one on one side, or once the first game has been played, teams will switch sides just because the Alliance and Horde bases are slightly different. And some people would argue that the Horde base gives an advantage to that team. It all depends on your perspective and how the game is played. But just to try to keep it as fair as possible, we do change sides every time there is a game played.
And I think, I was listening to the cast earlier, and I think you brought up a really interesting point with the fences as well, too, where it's like, I feel, I think we're same sides again. I think that depending on who you ask, they might tell you different things, or depending on what class that person plays, they might tell you like, oh, I like playing on the Horde side, or oh, I like playing on the Alliance. So like a few examples, like I'm sure Hunters and Rogues, like you said, particularly, especially last year, it's so nice playing on the Horde side because you can just hop the fence. There's so much mobility for your Hunters to be able to close in on plays, whereas on the Alliance side, you can't really get around that fence. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, too, there's some good things about the Alliance fence as well, too, especially if you're using it defensively, because you force people to move on one side of the fence or the other. So just like little things like that. It's probably different depending who you're asking. Like I'm sure a healer loves on Alliance, or an FC loves on Alliance, having that like fence that you can't run through being there in terms of like kiting around or kiting a team around.
Yeah, and the other thing too about the Horde I guess the housing thing that holds up the tunnel on Horde is a bit more difficult to kind of jump around compared to the Alliance housing thing that holds up the tunnel.
Oh yeah.
So the Alliance one is kind of an easier jump to make, but the Horde one is, it takes a bit of mechanical skill, and you need to know what you're doing to jump around that one. So that's one advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it. But yeah, we should be going into this next game in just a moment. We had to switch sides once again, trying to get these out as quick as possible. But of course, not
It'd be really
everything
nice if you could like
perfect.
queue the factions. It's just it sucks because you have to do it randomized and it takes a little bit to make sure that you get both teams on each side. I don't know how that works.
Well, let's see. Are we on the right side this time?
We're having quite bad luck.
No. Yeah, guys.
Oh my god!
Wow, esports.
Yeah, it's HogChamp in the chat, dude. This is insane right now. Holy cow!
This game's been out for what, like 12 years or something now, and there still isn't really a perfect spectator client, a perfect way to queue these war games. But we're doing as best we can. It's just sometimes I think it is random which side each team gets.
I think it's really on the Blizzard side of it. Like it's one of the great things is thinking about this too. We've been talking about, like, I particularly think this has been the best expansion for 19 Twinks in terms of like community and pre-mades, getting more activity. And I think one thing that people overlook is like how great Arena Live Spectator actually has, and a huge impact on being able to do these games. And a personal shout out for me, a thank you to all the guys working on Arena Live and some of our guys behind the scenes for putting in a lot of work to make some changes on this add-on that you guys are seeing today with class organization and AGMs and stuff like that. People going out of their way to make sure that we can have some extra features to give you guys. Even though it's a little wonky having the AGM CD there. It's goofy.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Arena Live didn't exist before this expansion. Maybe it actually did exist in MOP. I don't remember exactly. Looks like we have to replay it again. Getting pretty unlucky.
All right, what are we on, chat? Start counting. 6, 4, 5,
Okay.
team.
So is that a 1 in?
Part of the cards. This is it. Here we go.
So we've queued it wrong 4 times, and it's a 1 in 2 chance. So what is that? 1 in 8 chance of happening.
We need your energy to get this queue right, okay? Please send me your energy so we can get it this time, and the world can be a happier place, all right? We can play some Gulch. I don't even remember. Have we only played one game? I forget. One game, right? Holy cow. Yeah? Okay. Who do you think's gonna win this next game? We haven't really talked about that, I guess.
Here's another thing too. It's a tie game. And I don't remember what the rules are when it's a tie. I don't know if that means it's 1-1 right now. Oh, it's still 0-0. Okay, so we're playing 3 games. If there's still no score by the end of the 3rd game, we're doing a death match. And the rules. So if no one scores in the 4th game, then we do a death match in which the first team to score a kill wins. If I was Ozymandias, I'd pull out like the 9 rogues and.
You know what'd be really funny? I was thinking about this the other day, right? What if? Oh, okay. So I guess you're not allowed to change your comp from the 3rd to the 4th game or something like that. But something that 4th game to the death match. Okay, sorry, we're getting fed information as well too. I always thought that would be really goofy. Well, first off, I think it's really goofy. By the way, another one in chat. We're on 6 now. Chat, start counting. I think one of the I think it's kind of silly that it's a death match. Just to be all honest, I just think it's really goofy. But with that being said, I think it would be funnier if you could have one person, like let's say each team had to stay on top of like their fence, right, or just by the fence, and you had to send like a gladiator out into midfield.
Like a duel. It'd be like
you had to send one person out, like for the Twink Cup to decide it. Like, who would you pick?
It'd be like the opening scene in Troy, where Achilles has to fight that big guy. I would
pick? Like, if you could
I
pick
would
any
pick.
twink in the bracket to have a 1v1 to decide your team winning a series in the Twink Cup,
100%
who'd you
Randy
pick?
Leahy. Randy Leahy.
Yeah.
That'd be my pick. Like he would win that 1v1 for sure.
I feel like he'd use the terrain too. Like, he'd like get down in a bush, like maybe plan a sneaky ambush. Nothing made me laugh harder than last year when Randy on his warrior was behind. He was playing for Ping, right? He was behind their GY and he went to sleep. Like he was like
Yeah.
sneaking up on them in the GY. I was laughing so hard. That's one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me in a pre-made.
You know what Randy would do? Even though it's banned, he would like use that one toy to like freeze himself into amber or whatever, and then he would like come out and just kill someone.
Yeah. They think they're away. He pops a glider, execute, done. Like he's ruthless.
Yep.
I don't know if there's anyone that could stand up to Randy Leahy in that 1v1. Like that would be, I don't know. That'd be tough. Who would Muskie? If you had who is there anyone that could champion Randy Leahy?
I think it'd have to be Muskie. Muskie would have to do it himself as a guardian druid.
I was thinking actually maybe bring the Muskie Rogue out. Like just really get down and dirty and like throw the fangs up. Okay, they're one of the teams, Ozymandias right now. They're taking a technical pause. They've got a few minutes left to get back in this, but we are taking a cue here. So hopefully, 7 times the charm and PogChamp.
We did it.
PogChamp in the chat. We did it.
We did it. Reddit.
This. They're on the right side of the battlefield. We can now engage in Twink PvP.
That's right. You know what? My one complaint about this spectator client is it's hard to tell who's carrying the flag. You have to. I mean, at least with my client, maybe I don't have the correct add-on. I can't see who's carrying the flag unless I hide the UI. So that'd be one thing I'd want changed. Okay, so apparently it's a bug on my side.
Rest in peace.
So I can never see who's carrying the flag unless I get rid of the UI and just look myself. That's why I kind of suck at seeing, like, I'm like, oh my god, they're going to cap, and then I just don't notice that the other team has the flag, like, all the way across the field already.
You know what's one of the cool things about this expansion, though, too? More so than last expansion, is that the thing that makes 19 so fun, this expansion, is having to distribute resources around the map. And a lot of times when you get to really high stacks, like, things happen so fast. Like, we're engaged watching a play going on in midfield for one FC getting hit, and then, like, randomly, like, last game, Snug just returns the flag on roof. So things can happen really fast at the same time too, so it's hard to keep track as well. But I think that where like mechanics maybe lack at 19s, and there's always all those Twitch nerds that come in the chat and they're like, oh yeah, you play 19 Twinks, you must stink. We'll link your achievement, bro. Like the one thing that's really cool about 19s is distributing resources around the map, and I guarantee you people that don't play 19s, like you don't get an understanding for it and you don't get an appreciation towards it until you actually play. So all you haters out there.
I think 19s are a very egalitarian bracket. Like, it's a really good equalizer in terms of like, even if you're not the most mechanically skilled, there's other ways you can play that can make you into a great player. And it's the limited amount of buttons certainly doesn't make it an easy game, not by any means. Because everyone's become the master at using that limited amount of buttons. So, and the biggest thing too, the biggest difference from 19 to other brackets is the lack of mobility. Like you need to learn how to play around, literally walking your characters to places.
Yeah. Speaking about walking your characters, both teams have decided to meet at midfield here, and we're about to go. Look for Muskie Bad coming out with an opening wild charge here as Yorkie's going in, starting to get some Rens. Looking like he's going to get some points up on Snug right now, trying to get his 5-bite ready to make a swap. The charge going over into OG Lith. Lust coming out on Nixer to get Yorkie some extra Rens in the back line, and you can see this Panda is going ham, looking for his food. He wants to bring in the kill with a Crusader coming out. OG Lith stomping defensively, trying to contain Yorkie, but he's just going like a madman right now. Muskie really deep right now, getting greedy, coming back, barely getting alive there. They actually haven't managed to snowball a kill, but they've got some positioning.
Yeah, and Snug was taking a little bit of damage. I'm surprised that Ozymandias didn't really try to go for a dive onto Snug because, he was rendered up, and Muskie Bad did open up on him. WDF taking a bit of damage. It looks like he is going to be topped off. F again under some trouble. He might be going down here. He's forced to Displacer Beast out of the team fight back to his healer. So really good job using that Displacer Beast cooldown to get away. But right now it's kind of again a stalemate. A little bit of pressure being put onto Bergophobia and some of the backline, some of the healers on starter. Muskie Bad just sitting in that bear form. He does get a charge onto one of the priests onto starter. So maybe we could see some pressure on that priest. Excellent War Stomp though coming out, peeling off the damage of Yorkie, the BM Monk, and Muskie.
This team fight has really progressed interestingly here because Ozzy didn't panic to pick the flag, but Lenny did run all the way across. And it was interesting to see, too, that Ozzy just wants to keep control of tunnel right now. They didn't really commit any resources when Lenny was crossing. And now they have Scope patiently getting the flag. I was very much looking for that whole time for either side to get a kill, but it's just a stalemate right now. And I'm actually really impressed with both teams playing it very patiently here. It's going to be odd now, though, once they get their full team, because Lenny's going to be in an awkward spot pinned in the back of GY.
Yeah, I want to see Muskie Bad get some combo points and maybe get a kill. As I say that, Old Man Car for starter does go down, so maybe this is a time. Maybe this is the opportunity that Ozymandias needs to start securing some kills onto starter. And it looks like they're able to score a kill on a Trillmatics, and it looks like they are going to be able to take this team fight if they can continue this pressure onto the team of starter.
They do get to pass up into GY for now, so this is where I think starter really excels from playing here, and obviously that this is an advantageous spot for the team that is on the defensive, but I just think that starter does a great job with it. They play ultra defensive, look for people to overextend, and sometimes they use that to get pressure out of midfield if they pick someone off here. But right now, it's going to be hard for them to push out until Lenny is able to get all the way around or off his res here, because their Boomkin is the one holding the flag, so he's just having to sit really on the top of GY and wait for Lenny to get out before starter can get some serious pressure going.
Yeah, and that Boomkin holding the flag really limits where he can go and how much pressure his team's able to put out. So that's why you're seeing starter kind of play back a bit defensively, because they're not able to do anything really in the forms of aggression because their Boomkin is forced to carry that flag until Lenny reses. But there is a Hunter attacking Snug from behind. It is Ibu. They do get the pass off. Snug's going to charge Ibu on top of GY, getting some damage up onto him. He's forced to disengage and trinket. And he is probably going to go down, as those dots will rot him with that Star Surge damage as well. So Ibu's dive on Ozymandias' side. So really good job by starter kind of picking apart this offensive attempt onto the FC.
And this is great here because now the backside pressure is completely cleared up. And sometimes you would see a novice hunter a novice Boomkin let go of that hunter, and let's say the hunter has defensive cooldowns and then gets a bandage off that. He completely eliminates the backside pressure, now gets back into the team fight, re-engages, and they're putting some pressure now into Ozymandias as they're diving their healers. Fawcett taking a ton of damage, getting caught at 61 health, barely getting caught alive. They're trying to continue snowballing pressure, and they do get the kill on Fawcett as starter continues to push out of their GY, looking for more. Bergphobia coming back into the team fight. He is catching the bubble, as they are progressing out to try to continue wiping up the healers for Ozymandias.
And Zione under a bit of pressure. He does have that Nature's Guardian proc, but he does get Blood Elf Silence on his heal, and he will be going down. So right now we have 2 healers dead for Ozymandias. Starting to push out of their GY, really starting to push the team of Ozymandias back. And yeah, their whole team's getting wiped right now.
Now keep an eye right now, Moran. We have Snug going around up the ramp right now, and he's got Scope beat. So Scope is in such a bad spot because Snug beat him to the spot, did a great job at rotating around, and now Scope, alone as a hunter, is forced to go to roof.
Yeah, and that's not a good position to be in, especially since we just hit 6 stacks. So the Boomkin's going to have full mobility. Scope's not going to have any mobility. Okay.
Snug coming up to the roof right now. Scope having to play it out. He sees the druids there.
Hello?
He's going to commit down. Scope
I'll
is disengaging out to tunnel. He's actually dropping the flag, realizing that he can't make it back to his team in time, which is unfortunate. They're pretty much giving up the cap at this point because Bergphobia and Lenny are in the tunnel on Horde side with starter, so they are going to get a cap here. It's unfortunate that, as Muskie Bad would put it, quite unfortunate that they couldn't send a healer back with Scope there, because it really, a great rotation by Snug there, and I think that that's where starter excels. I think that their objective players, minus Lenny, really do a great job, and I think Snug and Phobia do a great job at that. Not to say that like Lenny's a bad player, I just think he's on a leash. Like,
All right, I'm unmuted my mic. Hopefully, is it still bad? So I was getting worried that.
You're just loud. That's all. I don't know what you did.
Okay,
Yeah, you're
apparently I'm
killing it.
loud. All right, so my
It's okay,
bad.
Mr. Loudmouth. Keep poning.
Yeah. Okay, so looks like we did get a cap for starter. So right now, starter is kind of getting wiped up here in mid. But it shouldn't be too much of a concern. Deputy F is getting the flag for Ozymandias. Probably going to be passing it, or maybe he's going to pass it to one of the hunters. He will be getting met by Scope, and he does have his hunter with both his hunters with him, so he should be in no problems as he's peeling off a Lenny Druid right now, who was attacking the FC.
They are able to kind of progress these kills. They're just kind of slowly killing Deputy, Scope, and Berg. Berg solo, Lenny having to heal him up a little bit. Scope getting out there, and it looks like he's going to be able to make it to Zioni there. I actually think that starter... It's funny that we just say that, because I actually think that Lenny is the only person on their team that holds them back objectively. No hate, I love the guy, but he's sitting in an FC set trying to kill the FC. I just don't think he thinks of things ahead of time. I actually think they could have won that 2v2 before the other hunter got there. Like, play very aggressive, kill that hunter. And think about that, because if they can't get the flag, like, they actually might be able to force Ozymandias, even if they're getting wiped in mid, to send some extra people up. Scope taking a lot of damage right now, being forced to disengage back into his team. So great backside pressure there. Lenny Druid getting the flag up top. He's running across the field right now. He should be able to get up because Berg Phobia is blocking him. Scope still under some harassment right now, as he's got the BM Monk just wailing into him, asserting his dominance, not letting him move anywhere. And this is one of the downsides of having a hunter. He does go down, Zioni with the repick here, trying to hang on for his life. Spam heals going into him. Musky Bad just trying to peel anything off, trying to get a bear root off. They may look to pass it to one of their druids here because OG Lith is just hammering into him. He can't move anywhere. The damage coming out. EPH trying to pull roots to pull people away from their team, get some distance. They've got to pass it over to one of their druids right now to get some distance.
Yeah, Scope was just kind of in the face of the other team. I don't know why he was pushed in so aggressively. I mean, that's why he died. He was basically playing it like a melee, just like shooting his gun from 2 feet away on the starter. That was really goofy, and that could have been really disastrous had starter got the return. But now it looks like they are stabilizing a bit, and they are starting to wipe starter. But really a scary moment for Ozymandias.
It's kind of one of those things, right, where you're a hunter or you're a druid FC, and you want to find the best displacer, but sometimes the best displacer or disengage isn't necessarily directly at your team. And I think Scope fell into that there. He took the displace or the disengage right at his team, but it actually made him susceptible to starters frontline being able to go on him, and having no disengage, you're in trouble as a hunter.
Yeah. Right now, Ibu is pushing up with his Resto Shaman and Deputy F, I believe. They're going to probably do some pressure on the starter. Onto Lenny Druid. Lenny Druid sitting on top of the GY. Ibu, Zioni, and I do believe Deputy F are pushing in. Maybe going to get some damage. Deputy F's firing his Star Surge actually into the Hunter, not onto Lenny Druid. It's a 3v3 up here on top of GY. Not a mirror match exactly, but we have boom kits on each team. And right now, Lenny Druid just seems to be sitting quite comfortably. WDF has that Berserker buff, and there is 6 stacks, so I think they could possibly push in, and they did. They are going to push in right now with actually Musky Bat pushing in from the other side. Really good job by Musky Bat. Musky Bat's actually probably going to go down here, not being topped off by his Resto Shaman. Ibu actually goes down, so really good job by Starter, kind of fending off Ozymandias as they pushed in offensively.
That was a close look there, and I think if they would have been able to keep Musky Bat up, they might have been able to continue and sustain that look. So you can see Scope right now is actually just heading all the way back across the field right now. This is a really sketchy situation. I think that Ozymandias is kind of like on the brink of wiping here, but they're somehow like keeping their position. And at the same time, it's just going to be awkward. They're going to have to keep track of like where Snug is going right now, and he's in the middle of midfield at this point. Scope going up. Trying to get away, but he's actually electing to maybe go into the GY and meet his other hunter. But you can see Snug is creeping up on Scope right now, and it's in such an awkward position. It's going to cause a lot of problems here.
The Displacer Beast coming out from Snug, Scope under a bit of trouble. He does get bear rooted up, deciding to disengage out of that post haste, removing that. He almost goes down as Snug dies. Musky Bat was able to help Scope. Scope needs to be a bit worried right now. He does get the bandage from Ibu. I was going to say that Moonfire dot might actually kill him. So really good job by that Hunter. getting that bandage out onto his homie. But right now, Ozymandias on the other side of the field, Zione is actually going to go down. Starter just doing an excellent job peeling off this aggression. You have this kind of like insanely close quarters team fight down here below the GY. Like everyone's in like the same like square foot basically.
Yeah, everyone's going fist to fist right up in each other's grills, trying to get some pressure on the healers. They're just trying to. This is all about asserting dominance to me. This match, it's just like who has the bigger balls. They're just throwing them out there, just trying to see who's got the Donkey Kong fist to slam people down.
I think that was the most twinks per square foot I've ever seen like in my life. That's crazy.
I think that this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I think Starter like does a really, it sounds trolly, but Starter does a really good job at turtling at GY.
Yeah.
Like you see like the Boomkin jumps up, one of the hunters is there, Scope just gets destroyed by Snug in the back randomly. You see Ibu's trying to push in at this point, and he kind of has to because Starter's already up a cap, so he's trying to push in on Lenny with 11 stacks, but I think he's got the displacer. He's going to be able to go to the cap. That's unfortunate.
So second cap by Starter. Deputy F was there, but if he would have picked that, he would have just died immediately. So he was trying to get some damage off with the Star Surge before Lenny Druid was able to cap. But unfortunately, Lenny Druid just able to displacer beast onto that cap. So that's going to be 2-0 right now for Starter. Going into this game with 7 minutes left, really comfortable position to be in my opinion, if you're a Starter. But right now, you just have to be consistent throughout the rest of this game. They can't give up a cap in the next few minutes. It'd be really bad. But I think they're playing pretty well throughout this entire game. Playing very conservatively, I'd say, and playing very well once they have the flag across the field. And if they can just do that, I think they should be very safe for the rest of this game.
One thing to watch for here is even though they're getting chain wiped, it looks like they're going to get pushed off the play. So Snug's going to be able to get across, so never mind. But clearly, he's got wild charge, but his team's there to give him a nice little pick-me-up group hug, so he's fine. He's chilling. That's good that they were able to wipe mid. I have no idea how Snug died. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea. But, Snug, came in, killed the FC. Cold blood. Well done by Starter. And they're assuming their position in the GY. Here they go. Snug's going back, looking for the jump up. For the alley-oop, maybe, one time. He's not going for it. Just the handoff. All right.
Yeah, but this is I think Starter is very comfortable in this position right now. Ozymandias, he's just right now it's like the do or die moments. You need to start playing very aggressively. You got to start thinking about not this cap necessarily, but the next cap. You need to set up a situation if you're Ozymandias, not only to be able to cap this flag, but also being able to get something going with the next cap, because you have to cap 2 flags in order to win this game if you're Ozymandias. And so they need to be playing, I think, really aggressively. And they're running out of time right now with only 5 minutes and 30 seconds left. And so they really need to get something going onto Lenny Druid.
And I think that this is one of the problems when you do run a Guardian comp. I think we're seeing it get exposed here a little bit. Like, even though you get the pressure in their actual GY, it's so hard to actually get pressure on top of the GY, right? So, like, even if you're running, like, let's just say you're running 10 people. Who cares what the classes are, right? It's so hard, even if you have the Guardian and the Warrior, let's say, to charge up into GY, even if they were to charge up to Lenny like 20 seconds later or 15 seconds later, like, they're probably dead anyway. So, like, it's such a safe spot for Starter, and they're just abusing the fact that, they don't have the extra versatility of running a Arrested Druid, or maybe having an extra DPS in the fight, something to give them a little bit of an edge. And I'm surprised that Ozymandias hasn't actually committed way more up to force Lenny to drop in a lot of situations. They're just trying to take these scrappy fights, but they are going in for some sort of a push here. Lenny getting backsided by Zione, Ibu, and Deputy. So the Deputy on the prowl, he's hungry to bring home a criminal, and Lenny's his target. The damage getting pumped into him, 1,500 health, getting topped by Dr. Manny down below, running into the GY, using the line of sight. He's got his healers coming up in a bit, checking in on Scope. He's just hanging out in the back of the team fight, taking on the other hunter. So he's fine for now.
Ibu's pet is a diseased bear, and Lenny is not happy with that bear. Scope actually taking a lot of damage right now. The FC of Ozymandias, I think he should be okay. It's just a little bit of damage from this hunter, from these 2 hunters from Starter. Lenny on the other side, completely fine, I believe. Actually, no, he's not completely fine. Ozymandias is able to dive on top of him, a little bit of a distraction as Scope was taking some damage. Some pressure was being put onto Scope. I think that gave the opportunity for Ozymandias to push in and do some damage onto Lenny Druid. So yeah, really good job there. Does look like Starter, they just keep on dying with the flag. It does get returned finally by Zeoni. And this probably is going to be a cap for Ozymandias, but now, I mean, this is going to be, you pretty much need to quick cap here, I think, or you just need to, it looks like are they delaying the cap? I can't tell.
Well, right now it looks like they got Berg Phobia in the back, kind of blocking Scope. He actually lines Ardo there. He gets an AGM pop. So Berg going for the all-in. The Blood Elf Silence coming out for a little extra burst. A lot of damage coming out. He's not able to really land the War Stomp timely, but he does buy Starter some crucial seconds in a game where it does matter now.
Yeah, and right now, let's see if there's anyone on the other side of the field. I think F or something has to pick up. F's in a good position to pick up the flag. I think they're just going to go for a quick cap here, or they're going to at least try to do something like that. Now, with that in mind, you got to start thinking about if you're Ozymandias, how can you prevent? You need to prevent the enemy flag carrier from getting out of your base. You need to kind of set up, I think, a pretty strong defense right now, or you need to be thinking about defense. F's just he gets to Displacer Beast off, gets the boots. He's going to probably meet Ardo in mid. I don't think anyone's going to be there to contest him. This is actually a really good position for Ozymandias to be in. They have 3 members of their team in midfield right now, able to contest anyone who's able to pick up that flag. Starter not in a good position, just being forced into their GY. So I don't. Is anyone up from a Starter going to get? Or is anyone from Starter picking up the flag right now?
Lenny does have the flag. He's sitting on the roof. He can be patient here a little bit. They have to send at least 2 people up to roof for you to be scared. So now, Lenny's got to be patient, and it's not all on Lenny right now in the situation. You would think as a viewer looking at the FC, it's all on Lenny right now. It's the communication. Where are their other team's hunters? Where are their other team's boomkins? Well, Ibu's down in midfield, so that's one hunter they don't have to worry about. So they're going to have to send their druid back to commit onto Lenny here. Lenny might just end up being fine sitting on the roof for the rest of the game. He is sitting on second floor. He's looking to go second floor. He does go second floor. And with the hunter committing up, knowing that the other one's dead, this is a pretty good look for him. Getting stomped with Deputy coming over to the side, landing a Star Surge, but Snug coming up over to meet him. Dr. Manny going to follow him up with Ibu getting into the mix. But everyone should be okay. He's going to go get into the team fight. I think Lenny should just be hitting his W key right now, trying to keep moving into the team fight because they are chain wiping Ozymandias. Get to his priest. Their team is fully grouped. Keep running, little Lenny. Keep running those little legs. Get out of bear form. Run home. Be the free Bambi that you were meant to be.
Oh my god! Like crazy, like that could have been really bad. Like there were some moments I was like, Lenny, Lenny, please
run, Bambi, run! Don't end like your mom, please.
Like it almost looked like he was going to go behind the Berserker hut for a moment. I was like, oh my god, Lenny, you better not go behind that hut. You're
Lenny, don't go behind the shed. Nothing good comes out of that.
So it does look like Starter should be fine here. Very scary moment for Starter. And it does look like they're going to be taking this game 2-1 over Ozymandias in this best of 3 series. Again, we had to tie the first game, and so I still think we play 3 games. And if the next game is a tie, then Starter will win. If the next game goes to Ozymandias, then we're going to play a 4th game. So the first team to... Okay, so we're looking at the scoreboard. I left the game. I can't tell who won.
Looking at the game here, it was very much... Ozymandias has a lot of control, and they're getting a lot of damage out. So Yorkie having 460k damage is great. It's great pressure. And, 3 of the top 4 players in damage are from Ozymandias, with Yorkie, Muskie Bat, and Nixer up on the top there. But, it was almost irrelevant damage a lot of the time. Like, some of it was relevant, but it just felt like the fights that Ozymandias was getting into in Starter's GY, they just weren't picking the right fights. And I think that maybe except for that final push where they killed Lenny in his GY with about 3.5 minutes left, they didn't get the right split. And Starter was able to punish them by sending their warrior up at times, getting their boomkin up there with a wild charge, and they're able to just punish them. So probably really frustrating to be sitting there on Ozymandias' side, because it looks like stat-wise you dominated the game, but strategy-wise you failed, I guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say Yorkie's damage that game was absolutely insane, but that just proves that like damage isn't everything in this bracket. Like, you know, they lost that game despite Yorkie doing one of the highest damages I've ever seen in a Warsong Gulch, you know, 470k or whatever it was. But yeah, like Ozymandias, I think, gave up a lot of opportunities that game to put pressure on the FC. Again, that Guardian Druid seems to be pretty limiting at times strategically for them. It's something that it's a little niche that you can play with, but you know, if the niche isn't working, it's just like it's a tragedy at that point. But really good job by like Starter for the majority of that game, sort of protecting their FC. You know, getting in that defensive position in GY. That's one of the things that, you know, you said they're most comfortable when they're in the GY. It's kind of like each team has you kind of have like three flavors of team. Like SR, like they're most comfortable when it's like a gauntlet on roof. That's SR's territory. Starter, they really like being in that GY, in their own GY. It seems like getting farmed, but that's where they're able to stabilize. So that's a very interesting line to play. Interesting like thought process. It's like weird. It's like their own environment.
You know what? Actually, going off of what you were just saying there, I would actually be really concerned if I was Muskie, because I feel like Muskie's team, the area that they succeed in is like out strategizing other teams, and they got out strategized like the whole game, except for that one push on top of GY where they had the right split, they sent the right people. So, like, I would be kind of concerned if I was Ozymandias. I don't think they're going to change team composition because it was close enough, but we'll see what we're getting. Okay.
Okay, so what the rules are for the stream, if Starter wins this next game, then Starter wins the series. If Ozymandias wins this next game, then it will go to a fourth game. If that fourth game is a tie, then we'll have the sudden death mode. So, you know, we can, there's potentially, what is that, 2 more games that could be played here, or after this game, there could be 2 more following that. But right now, we're just going to be playing this game, and it Starters up in this series 1-0. And if they, you know, if they win again, they're going to be taking the series 2-0.
I mean, I'm really curious what's going to happen here in this game. I think the pressure's on Ozymandias. I'm curious to see how they do with it. And you can see right away, they actually did change their team comp. They felt like they were getting bullied objectively. They put Muskie over to Resto Druid. I'm glad that they made that change. I'm happy that they did that. I think that's the area they were struggling in, and Muskie realized that. So I'm glad. That tells me that off a game where I think they struggled objectively, that Muskie, being their team leader, coming in here clear-minded, he's like, you know what? We had some trouble on splits. I'm going to help us out. Let's get it done. So I like that move by Ozymandias. I'm surprised they did it, though. Good move.
Yep.
I think going into this, the thing to watch will be that they won't have Muskie in mid. Unless he's just going to go like ham and like open as a Resto Druid, maybe. I don't know. He just pulls out some janky stuff. But with that being said, watch to see how this mid fight does, because I think that Muskie is a vocal leader for their team, and having his presence in midfield as well on a Guardian Druid does a lot of damage. So see how Starter does in this mid fight.
Yep. And I'm just looking at Yorkie right now, that Panda Warrior, male Panda Warrior with the big old hammer. He's been the damage MVP a lot of these games with that mighty mace of his. Going into battle stance, of course, he wants to be in battle. Like,
you choose Yorkie for one of your gladiators. Yorkie might be a good gladiator to take on Randy. You know, with his
yeah, Yorkie versus Randy in mid. It'd be Panda versus Night Elf. Like Yorkie wouldn't be able to find Randy because Randy would be shadow melted somewhere.
Oh my god. Okay, Yorkie going in. They're doing some damage. Let's see what Starter does positioning wise in midfield. I wonder if they're just going to be more aggressive. Ozymandias, who plays a little bit more cleave, is going to have to make better swaps this game. Deputy already having to use his Displacer back. Yorkie getting a rend on the Boomkin right now. A lot of damage coming into the front line. Yorkie taking a ton of damage, barely getting caught at 300 health. They're topping him up, and the Racial coming out from Scope. Very aggressive here. See if they can punish Scope at all, but it looks like it was a really successful push there. They're getting some pressure right now in mid. No kills yet, but they have pushed Starter back a little bit.
Yeah, and one of the things I'd like to mention for Starter, okay, for a while they didn't have a battle standard up. One of these teams doesn't have a battle standard, which is quite a few hit points missing. But it looks like they both now get the battle standards down. But yeah, just some pressure from Starter onto Ozymandias with Fawcett actually going down. That's not good if your healer's dead in this opening team fight. Ardo's actually taking some pressure from the front line of Starter. He does look like he's getting topped off. I'm not sure if his Nature's Guardian procced, but he is under some pressure a little bit. And Fawcett actually getting back to the team fight, getting that res, but Nixer going down, getting picked up quite a bit. And it does look like some pressure is now being put onto Scope. So really good cleave pressure by Starter. And actually, Ardo's just going to go down. That was crazy. I mean, Starter's AoE pressure and single target damage at the same time was crazy in that opening team fight.
Yeah, they're in trouble now. It looks like Starter's really starting to ramp up. They got the Resto Shaman kill and the BM kill. So Musky Bad, you can already see him breaking off the tunnel. He's got Scope with him. Love to see that. So he's got some extra protection there. Deputy breaking off as well too. Blackout just trying to fight off Berg Phobia so the Boomkin can go up as well too. So it looks like Ozymandias is going to be put in a spot where Starter was for the majority of last game, where they're going to be in their GY, but they already have the Boomkin up there and they have the Hunter up there. But the thing to notice here is that Starter does know that both those guys are up there. They were contesting them at ramp. So I'm interested to see how quickly Starter reacts here and if they send anything up or if they elect to stay in the team fight and wait till higher stacks.
Yeah, it looks like both Hunters, Bergophobia and the other Bergophobia, are just sitting in this team fight right now. Not choosing to engage because it's 30% stacks. Although that's 30% increased damage, it's very difficult to kill with FC even before 6 stacks. So they're probably just gonna be waiting, trying to continue the pressure. They're starting their dominance over Starter with Yorkie going down. Ardo's taking some pressure. It does look like he will be dropping. Gets war stomped on his heel. Excellent war stomp. I don't know who that was from Starter, but Ardo's just gonna go down. And right now, Starters just need to be really consistent. The flag is actually getting dropped to Scope. Musky Bad's going to go back to his team, perhaps, or no, he's just sitting up there in stealth. I'm not sure exactly why, but they did get the flag pass off there. And right now, if you're Ozymandias, you got to be worried in just a few moments that these Hunters might start breaking off and are going to start putting some pressure on the Scope.
You know what? I really like actually Musky going in stealth there because remember back when there was the Rogue in the play. You had to respect the Rogue and the Boomkin a lot of times being in stealth, and it changes situations when you don't know where people are. So I kind of like Musky being in stealth, even if he's just staying there, right? Because maybe they don't send enough people up and they just kill him, but maybe he could be in midfield and it just makes them want to stay in midfield and wait till higher stacks and they're sitting in their GY. So I'm okay with it. I think it's a nice play.
And as you say that, Bergophobia is actually going around one of the Hunters, and he thinks it's going to be a 1v1. So maybe you're right. Maybe Musky Bad is kind of being deceiving. It's a little bit of a trick to kind of peel one of those Hunters off. And I think Musky, they should be able to win this 2v1 against Bergophobia. Actually, Musky Bad, opening up on the Bergophobia, getting some damage out. Bergophobia actually popping his Battlemaster trinket, going to get rooted. Trinketing that root, he's going to put some pressure on the Scope right now. If he gets a Scope proc onto Scope, it will certainly be Scope's death. I said the word Scope at least 5 times right there. Using the War Stomp, doesn't get a Scope proc yet, and he is just going to go down. So really good job, really smart. Nice call, nice read. Buns, Musky Bad's strategy right there seemed to be to try to just deceive this team, to try to give them confidence to push in, and then they engage the Hunter in a 2v1.
Yeah, the only thing I would have liked to see a little bit differently there, this is just OCD, is I would have liked to see Scope actually just go in and just dive on the play because he already used his disengage already. So just collateral and kill him quickly, I think that they would have been able to kill him a little quicker, but and actually
this is looking pretty good for Ozymandias right now. They were able to gain a little bit of control in mid, it seems, pushing out of their GY. Right now, what you need to be considering if you're Musky Bad is, if your team's able to stabilize here in mid, are you going to be in a position to cap? It looks like Lenny Druid is just holding the flag in front of his base. Both Ibu and Scope look like they want to go around. They're playing at ramp with Zioni. It looks like they are trying to just sneak past this team. So we're getting a bit of map displacement. We have a Hunter 2v2 on ramp right now. Both Hunters just firing away at each other with that Restless Shaman healing them. And it looks like they are just trying to get some pressure and perhaps just cut around behind Lenny Druid and get a quick kill.
I wonder how this is actually going to play out because they did this really early. Like, they don't have control of midfield. So I would assume that they're going to try to get pressure on as soon as possible because they're down a healer right now. And it's pretty even in midfield. And you can see that both of their hunters are just trying to commit into getting a kill in midfield right now. So hopefully Scope and Ibu try to get some pressure on Lenny to draw some healers back into the team fight and kind of cause like a sandwich situation here. But they're electing to stay on top of tunnel for now. And it's just really even mid fight. Quite a stale fest in mid right now.
Yeah, and they have to keep that rest of Shaman with the two hunters, because if they didn't, then it would just it could be a 2v2 or 3v2 situation with Lenny just healing his hunters as they pick off the other hunters on the other team. But as I said, that Ozymandias is actually wiping in mid. It looks like Ardo is down, so they have two healers down in mid right now. Lenny Druid's taking a lot of damage from these hunters as they dive into him. He's trying to get peeled right now by Bergophobia coming out with the War Stomp. Lenny Druid's under a ton of pressure with 11 stacks, choosing to Displacer Beast away. He just does Displacer behind his healers. Might be okay here if Ozymandias can, or if Starter, can finish off this wipe on Ozymandias. Lenny Druid, I think, it should be fine here. A bit of a scary moment for Lenny Druid, but his team was able to just react really quickly to that pressure and quickly wipe up the members of Ozymandias who are causing some pressure.
I mean, this is like, for how many people are actually in this team fight, I'm surprised that it's still going on, but I guess they kill everyone just about now. That was a lot scarier than I thought it would be, and you know what, at the end of the day, I actually really like it by Ozymandias, because at the end of the day, even if they don't get that kill, they just force their whole team to have to sit there and commit all the resources to finishing that play. And look, now Muskie is just sitting in the top of GY, fully grouped with his team. They're going to get cleanly rezzed here. Lenny's breaking off as if he wants to go cap. Question mark. We'll see how that goes
that
off.
Might actually be quite smart. If Bergophobia and the rest of his team can get around Muskie Bat just sitting on top of GY right now, I think that is kind of smart. I mean, it's obviously really risky, but it might actually play out for them if Starter can. It's a race right now. It's literally a foot race to get to the FC, and Starter really needs to get a kill right now, or else Lenny Druid is going to be Lenny dead in a few moments.
Nice pass by Scope to Muskie Bat as well, too, to get a little extra distance. That was great, and that was needed because it's high stacks right now. Great pass. That was awesome. Lenny Druid now, like, sitting in the base. Were they able to break anyone off? It looks like Deputy and EPH are trying to combo Lenny here, going up into the tunnel, and Dr. Manny in the tunnel trying to help Lenny, but Lenny's running away. A shear coming out into Deputy's Star Surge. Muskie getting killed by Snug. He's gonna make it to the cap. 1-0 Starter. Holy moly. Can't we get a replay?
Yeah, that was crazy. Muskie Bat was trying to kite around that relief hut, but he was just getting tunneled, and it was, I think, like 15 stacks at that point. Not much you can do in that sort of situation. You're just taking a ton of damage from Starter, and Muskie Bat did go down, and Lenny Druid was able to displace the beast onto cap. It's really well played by Lenny Druid, recognizing exactly when Muskie Bat was going to die.
I think Lenny, I didn't quite see what happened on the Muskie side of things. I saw what happened on the Lenny side of things. I think Lenny did a great job there at really min-maxing his position. Great shear coming out by Dr. Manny on the Star Surge that could have caused a lot of bursts. Let's see how this transition here goes for Ozymandias, as they're already getting the flag across. Berg, the Hunter, is now trapped like on the other side of fence for Alliance right now, trying to get Lenny over, but he's getting off-healed by Muskie on the side here with Scope. So this is going to be a really awkward position here, and it looks like they are going to commit their resources to try to push Bergphobia down, and I like it considering it's a Hunter. They just get a conk on him and another slow, and he's going to be in a really bad spot. So Bergphobia just sitting at the top of GY right now. He's making his commit, sees Muskie Bad coming out. Fawcett and Zioni are already here. He's already using his disengage at this point. I would love to see that come out a little bit later, get some extra distance. Lenny Druid meeting him, the pass coming off, the charge from the Warrior onto the Hunter, and Lenny, see you later. I think Bambi's running free. Run free, my child. Run free.
That was, really well played there. We're going to get a replay. Lenny Druid sneaking up onto Bergophobia, getting the pass off right before the Warrior charged. I mean, that could have been disastrous if that Warrior was expecting the pass and charged a little bit sooner, or was able to get to charge sooner. And Lenny Druid immediately picking up the flag, Displacer beasting away to his team. And Starter's now in a really good position. If they can just kind of stabilize here, make sure that they don't all wipe. It looks like they are putting some pressure on the front line of Ozymandias as Nixer's taking a bit of damage. Same with Yorkie. Muskie under a bit of trouble too, getting forced back a bit. Muskie is not playing Guardian anymore, but they are able to put some pressure onto him. Ibu is just sitting in the back of his team with that flag. So I think, this is actually a really good position for starter right now.
One thing that you just brought up that I've just noticed right now is notice that Muskie is playing the Resto Druid, but he's playing it very aggressively. They're having the Hunter still holding the flag at this point. They're trying to get Muskie actually in the team fight, get some combos, help them land some kills. So really interesting strategy. We don't see a lot of teams do that. For the most part, we usually see the Resto Druid either hanging out like 40 yards away or off healing or something like that. But Muskie actually taking that really aggressive stance. So an interesting play style. It gives his team some extra momentum.
I like that a lot. I mean, you can do that, especially considering that you are running with 4 other healers. So Muskie really doesn't need to be healing, and it's pretty safe for the Hunter to hold this flag, prior to stacks hitting. So Muskie is actually Displacer Beasting outside of the team fight. I'm sure he has a few combo points. It probably won't last by the time he connects the FC, but he is looking to get possibly a big bite onto Lenny. Lenny is sitting out there on the top of the Horde tunnel. It's going to be very difficult for Muskie to get there. WDF Displacer Beasting towards the ramp. Lenny Druid's probably going to go up tunnel, or he's going to probably Displacer Beast towards his team. He needs to line of sight the damage done by WDF. Muskie actually sneaking behind him. Here's the unique jumps I was talking about earlier. Lenny Druid taking some damage. I think he should actually be fine. WDF and Muskie not able to do much on offense there. Very difficult to do at this point in the stacks. It's kind of really difficult to do around that top of tunnel.
And you can see right now that stacks have hit, they're trying to be aggressive. OG Lith trying to go in, get some pressure on that Hunter FC, but he's getting forced back. They're still down there, BM Monk in midfield right now. Fawcett coming back into the team fight. They're trying to find some momentum, but it looks like for the moment, Ozymandias has gotten away with this push so far. They're just going to it's going to be a battle in mid, and Ardo going down here in the mid fight. They're going to have to pass it over to the Druid because they're going to dive this FC here, and that Hunter is going to get trained unless they get the pass off. Yeah,
I mean, eight stacks right now, taking 80% increased damage. Hunter, I think, just uses disengage. So if starter recognizes that, I mean, their BM Monk is down, but right now, Ebu, I'd be a bit worried. He's kind of playing aggressive. And some pressure getting put onto Ozymandias. Deputy F is getting hit quite hard. Beat this actually going to go down. Not a good position to be in if you're Ozymandias. Evo just pushing up, and again, I think that's kind of risky if you ask me. Playing this close to the enemy team at this amount of stacks.
I am so I'm so on my toes right now because I kind of can't believe that they weren't able to get Ibu there. But I think the big thing is they were able to land a kill on OG Lith, who's now got the pass up from the flag with Lenny passing up into GY. So this is a weird spot for starter at the same time now too. Scope's already up top, getting his pet out. They don't have a true Druid FC with the flag. Lenny's just kind of staying down below, like in the team fight, trying to get him.
And look right now, Burgophobia is actually going around. OG Lith is passes the flag is not. Deputy F taking a lot of damage. Deputy F coming out behind the team, actually able to get a kill, returning the flag. It's a really good job. But the question is, can Evo get to the base? Either his 100 or 10 stacks right now. Burgophobia is in front of him, getting 1v1 by this priest. I think Burgophobia will be going down soon, but it's gonna. Ebu drops the flag to Muskiebat. Muskiebat's gonna take that all the way home. I don't think Burgophobia is gonna live to pick up this flag, but he is gonna die with 1 HP.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad indeed. And yeah. Well,
I think I think that once again on that kill in the FC, we saw Muskie and EPH be able to connect there on the FC, seeing that versatility of Muskie playing the Resto Druid. And they really didn't get punished for it in mid because they weren't able to push on the Hunter FC. So that double Druid combo there was a lot of damage at the same time, and they got rewarded for it in this situation. It's a 1-1 game, last cap favoring Ozymandias.
Yeah, and Lenny Druid's already in the Horde, or already in the Alliance space. I'm probably going to pick this up relatively soon. He comes out of cat form. His team has been wiping Ozymandias in in mid, and Ozymandias, a lot of them are dead right now. Going to be rezzing momentarily, but Lenny Druid, I think, is just probably going to try to just get this flag across the field. Perhaps the starter should set up some sort of defense. It looks like Burgophobia is sitting in flag room right now, probably going to contest whoever picks up the flag for from Ozymandias. It looks like it's probably going to be Musky Bad going for the pick as he uses his Displacer piece to get around, and he is going. Does he have anyone with him? That's the question. I don't think he has anyone. He has F with him, so F and Musky Bad are going to be picking up this flag together.
Lenny Druid running up tunnel right now. They've got 2 Hunters and a Boomkin already on defense. It's going to be interesting to see what Muskie does. He is already caught out here. He's running up, trying to do something to get on this FC. But Lenny right now at 2,000 health, just running back down, trying to get help, support from the rest of his team, peeling away from the DPS. He's got some peels right now, but it's really a half and half game. Lenny on the cap, healing himself right now. The off heals coming in. Deputy looks like he's going to make it out of the tunnel. Really close call there.
Yeah, really good use of Trinket and War Stomps by Ozymandias. W not out of the woods yet, getting pressured by this BM. Like, uses his Displacer piece to get away. He does get connected on by this Warrior. It's kind of still some trouble. Snug actually now attacking Deputy F. Deputy F still taking a ton of damage. This is really scary. He is just sitting in travel from trying to get away, trying to get distance from this team. I think he should be fine now. Maybe not. Actually, the 100 damage coming in. WDF can't stop right now. He can't stop running, but he is ranging his healers. Fortunately, Musky Bat is there to throw some heals, but kind of a scary moment in my opinion for Deputy F. Really kind of dicing with death for a few seconds there.
I think he did a great job too, being someone that's not a true FC. He really just utilized the ability of being able to run fast. And, a lot of FCs, we've even seen it in this game so far, he just hit his travel form and started running and peeled away, let his team kill the people that overextended. But there's still 2 minutes left in this game. Ozzy's not in a great spot right now. They just got completely team wiped. I wouldn't be surprised if Starter elects to send their whole team up ramp or maybe some aggressive split right here. I would like to see more. I would like to see their whole team maybe go up here. They're sending Dr. Manny back right now. I'm not sure if anyone is actually going after him. It looks like Muskie at this point has come out of south to go back, but I'm not sure if anyone is ahead of him at this point.
Yeah, Muskie is electing to go offense right here. I guess they just want to put some pressure onto Starters FC. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, Ozymandias just rezzed, and Deputy F still is holding on a flag, taking a bit of pressure from these hunters. We have a team fight going on above the GY. Deputy F is maintaining really good distance actually from Starter. As I said that, he is getting hit by Burgophobia, trying to get some Star Soldiers out, get charged by the Warrior. He does have his Displacer Beast available, might be coming out soon. Getting the War Stomp off, getting the Roar of Sacrifice. He should be fine momentarily. It's just whether or not Ozymandias can wipe Starter before Deputy F is into too much trouble. He does use his Displacer Beast, falls down to the GY. There aren't 6 stacks yet, but it's going to be very scary for WF in these next few moments.
And right now, Musky Bad really the only person hitting the FC at this point, so it looks like it wasn't worth him being back there, and he's probably regretting the whole fact that he's there at this point. Deputy running around in circles, just trying to buy some time for his team. They are able to kill Snug on Boomkin, so he is down. It looks like they're going to be able to try to clean this team fight up, as it looks like there's maybe a disconnect on Starter. Maybe Snug just left the game at that point. I think he actually left the game. I think he died and then left the game because he was pissed that he died. But Lenny getting attacked right now. It looks like Deputy's going to be fine. I think that Starter really, unless I'm mistaken here, and they get a last second swap to Deputy.
He's in execute range.
Holding on for their bare lives with 5 seconds left. Deputy just running in circles, hoping his healers can hit their buttons. It's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
And we have a tie ball game, ladies and gentlemen, 1-1 in this best-of-3 series. We're going to be playing a 4th game. And if that 4th game happens to be a tie, then we'll see the controversial, to say the least, sudden death mode. We're going to be looking at the scoreboard. Again, I left the game too early, so Buns, what can you tell me about the score? What can you tell me about the damage?
A lot of the same. I don't know where Snug would have placed on here. I'm sure he's somewhere in the mix damage-wise. But Yorkie just topping by a lot. And pretty much Starter just having kills where it counts. I think that overall, I would say, looking at KBs here, that Starter had more killing blows, which means they had more control over the pace of the game. But yeah, Ozymandias, I guess, was able to hold on at the very end of it. So it was really close. Like, I think that Muskie made a poor decision going on offense there if he was going to be the only person with a Resto Shaman back. So at that point, I would love to see Muskie just stay back and help his team wipe, because it got pretty close there quite a few times. And even when I thought after the Boomkin had left and they'd wiped him up, I thought it was done at that point. But, stacks prevail, bursts can happen. So quite a close finish to that one.
It's unfortunate if Snug, I don't know if he DC'd or if he just did leave the game, as you said.
I think he raged.
He might have just accidentally typed AFK or something. Yeah, a bit unfortunate because I don't know. I don't know where he was on the field. I guess it didn't really matter either way. But
he ended up dying, I think, in the team fight, and they left because there was like a minute left and he wasn't going to get back. I think he just was like, I could be wrong. Maybe he DC'd, but it looked like he died and then left the game.
Deputy F, I would say his butt was probably puckering that entire game for the last 30 seconds of that game, taking a ton of damage, dipping into execute range momentarily. He was just one global away from dying. So that's one thing you have to be concerned about as an FC. You got to look out for your HP, where you're at, if you can be executed by that warrior. So yeah, it was pretty much a coin flip at that time whether or not F would have lived. But really good job. He was. I mean, it's hard to say. It's really hard to tell if someone's kiting well in an area like that. But it seemed like he was doing a good job keeping pretty good distance, especially just staying in bear form, trying to keep max distance from Starter's offense.
Yeah, I think the thing that impressed me the most was coming from someone that doesn't normally FC, like you said. I think Deputy did a great job, and especially when you give the flag to someone that doesn't FC, like, he did a great job there at the end, minus the fact when he did displace her, he ended up getting caught like in that crevice and fell, which was actually pretty bad because it allowed the melee to just stack up for racials. But other than that, I thought that he did a pretty good job during that last 3-minute sequence of, having to be the off FC there. And it goes to show, if they're going to play a team like that and they want to use the versatility of having the hunters and both druids being able to FC, that they have capable people that can do it. And that's a good win for Muskie Bat, a good comeback win for Ozymandias. They did it in a style that suits their team. They made some great objective plays. They outsmarted the team with the double druid push with the hunter FC. Let's see what happens in this game here. So I believe that there's going to be a little bit of a tactical timeout here so the teams can talk over their 19 Twink Warsong strats. So this will be the fourth game, and I believe it's just played out as a normal game. So we don't have to pick our Twink Gladiators yet. But, in reality, there's no Twink Gladiator fight, unfortunately. I think that would have been a nice way to do it, unless the teams mutually agreed. But, I just think that... Okay. No, we're doing okay. I'll just keep talking. I think going into this last match here, I don't know. I feel like the first win, I should say, because the first one was a tie, right? I think the first win Starter did a great job. I think they got to play to their strong suit, which is in their GY, which, it sounds trolly, but, it's a safe spot for a lot of teams. The first game, I felt like Ozymandias should have won. They just didn't. I don't know. And then the last game was a nice little, pat on the back to say, we can come out here and compete. Moran, who do you got going into this last game? What do you think's happening here?
I really like Starter. I think they've been playing a bit more consistently, they have a bit more consistency, if you ask me. Muskie Bad's team kind of was shaken up. I mean, they just seem to be playing a bit sloppier than Starter. And, I really like what Starter's doing throughout these games. Again, I think they're just playing extremely consistently. Bit of mistakes from both teams in this series. Some sloppy play coming out from both Ozymandias and Starter. But overall, I kind of like what Starter's doing a bit more. Yeah, I mean, this has been an incredibly close series. We had a tie and then two alternating wins. So this is a tiebreaker, and if this one, once again, if this game is another tie, we are going to be going to that sudden death mode, in which the first team to score a kill is the team that wins. So that will be definitely the craziest thing I'll ever see in my twinking life. Sudden death Warsong Gulch.
I'm not sure what's going on here. It looks like one team's in and the other team's not. I'm not sure if they're like on the right faction or not, but it looks like one of the teams is waiting to kind of join the fight at this point.
Yeah, this is Ozymandias is waiting to enter this game. They've done this before, where they just delay joining the game, and I don't know, maybe Muskie is going Guardian again. I'm not sure. It's kind of some weird like mind. I don't know what Muskie Bad's doing, man.
Yeah.
He's
got
to
get timeout. You're probably right. They probably are. They got something up their sleeve here, so keep an eye on for it.
Yeah, tactical butt pats all around as Muskie Bad's going to prepare his team for this this potentially final game.
Muskie's going to warm up the troops, whatever it takes. He's getting his guys out there and get them on the field ready to plunder the crops and get out there and put their name out there. So we'll see what they end up coming in with. Muskie still hasn't joined the game, so he's playing Resto, so I don't know. That was weird. Whatever. I guess here we go. The last game here. Let's see if we actually get a winner. I think that was a little too close for comfort, Ozymandias on that last win.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say this. I think if Starter gets the first cap, whoever gets the first cap, I think is going to win the game.
Yeah.
Because I think if Ozymandias gets the first cap, they're going to feel really good and have a lot of momentum going. Whereas if Starter gets the first cap and they can just play in their GY the whole game, like that's great for them too. So I think it's very first cap heavy here in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean the first cap for sure kind of sets the pace of the game. Like it seems like it's kind of like it's more like a statement almost. It's like we got the first cap. Like, we are the better. Like we did something that you couldn't do. But at the same time, anything can happen after that first cap. First, in the infamous words of an RBG leader I had one time, first cap doesn't matter. But here it seems like it actually does. It's something more mental than anything else.
Yeah. You can see both teams now engaging into this team fight. Old Man Carr just barely getting topped up here. Some dives coming out, trying to get some pressure onto the healers here of Ozymandias, but it looks like it's going to be okay. Ozymandias still pushing up. Carr getting some backline rens, really keeping good pressure on Ozymandias' healers. And we'll see, a lot of these team fights in the opening have been quite stale, but Ozymandias is getting some dives right now onto Starter. A lot of pressure going onto Bergphobia. PogChamp Water taking some damage. Both Shamans in trouble. Melfina in trouble. Racial's coming out to counter the pressure of Ozymandias, but they do land the kill on PogChamp regardless. So one healer down. Let's take a look at where the FCs are here. It looks like Lenny is actually trying to commit into his team in mid, who's down a healer, and their hunters are aware of it this time. So Lenny coming over, using his Displacer Beast. AGM coming out. He's not going to make it to his team. The charge coming out. They do kill him. Bergphobia getting the repick. Can he make it to his priest? The bubble coming out. So much healing going into him. He's got to make sure he's keeping the line of sight. The trinket coming out. Ozymandias training all the damage into it. A charge from the warrior coming out. Going down. Ardo the shaman getting the slam dunk, getting the return, and Muskie Bad running in for a cap.
Yeah, I think that was just kind of a lack of awareness from Lenny Druid, or perhaps a lack of communication. His team was getting wiped up. PogChamp had died at that point, and we've seen that situation before where Lenny Druid just goes along the side of the map, uses his Displacer Beast, and he's kind of safely in the hands of his healer. But right then, it was either there was a miscommunication or Ozymandias just played that much better than they had in the past. In the past, Muskie Bat was able to just Lenny was able to sneak past those hunters, but today, both those hunters are saying, nope, Lenny, you're not getting past us. Firing off those explosive shots, going straight to the dome of Lenny Druid. So yeah, here we are. We already have a first cap. Something has been accomplished in the first 2 minutes of the game that hadn't been accomplished in 20 minutes of like 2 games. So really good job by Starter. Muskie Bat unfortunately getting caught out of stealth by Bergophobia, getting escorted by Deputy F, getting forced back as Deputy F is going down to both these hunters and this Boomkin. So really good job by these hunters kind of controlling Muskie Bat from getting across the field. Let's see where PogChamp is right now. Not PogChamp, Lenny Druid. Lenny Druid is about to pick up this flag. I don't think anyone's there to contest him. There might be a hunter on Ozymandias there, but I don't see anyone. This is kind of looking bad for Ozymandias. Muskie Bat getting caught out of stealth kind of really disrupted his ability, entirely disrupted his ability to get this flag. And Lenny Druid almost has a free route to the cap, unless anyone's in front of him. I don't know if there is. We're gonna have to see the positions of these hunters. Yeah, no one's in front of Lenny Druid. I think this is going to be a cap in the other direction for for Starter.
And Lenny getting in the backside of his team here. Ozymandias trying to do anything that they can right now to get position on tunnel. Maybe if they don't kill the FC, they can catch some healers behind. Watch for this. If they can land some kills on the healers here, they're not going to kill the FC. But if they can land some kills on the healers, watch for another snowball cap off of this. But it actually looks like the opposite's happening. Ozymandias extends too far. They lose a priest, they lose Muskie and Yorkie just barely alive, going down. They overcommitted for that kill. And that's unfortunate in the words
and that's like a cap for so wow, we had 2 flag caps happen in like back to back, one from each team. I kind of like the pace of this game a bit better if we can see more flag caps like this. This is sort of the Twink Warcraft I like to see, with flags getting capped really quick. Unfortunately, those flags are both capped off of mistakes made by the other team, but really well played by Starter. Just getting that quick cap off of a botched attempt early on in the game.
So as you said in the beginning of the match, sometimes that first cap, it's just an ego boost, and it looks like it did quite that for Ozymandias. And I think really the MVP play there for them to transition that cap was the positioning of Hoplophobia catching Muskie and denying him that stealth for almost 30 seconds. So great job by him, because that really opened up the opportunity for Lenny to run across and get that cap. And you can see now Lenny's getting shot down by the Hunter in tunnels, both Hunters actually. So this is great. They're going to be able to kill him and get the Hunters on GY reses. So they'll be in a great position to maybe go back on Muskie here, but he is crossing the field. He it looks like he has his Boomkin, his Rest of Shaman. So they're not going to be able to get across, but they do have backside pressure.
Yeah, and that's really important. That's one of the things that the really good teams will capitalize on quite often, is kind of just hitting a team from both sides. I mean, it's actually kind of it's a frustrating position to be in. I'm sure it's really confusing to deal with as an FC. It's like it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, where if you move forward, like, you're going to be pushing into enemy DPS. If you move backward, you're going to be pushing into enemy DPS. So it's kind of a scary position to be in. Muskie taking a little bit of pressure right now from these Hunters of Starter. Muskie forcing to displace a beast away, is dropping low, getting a clutch bandage. He might actually go down, dropping to 300 HP. Can he make it to his healers? He can't make it to his healers, actually. Does go down. Flag should be Flag's actually picked up. I'm sorry, yeah, flag was returned, my bad, by PogChamp. So if we could get some PogChamps in the chat, really good job by PogChamp Wada getting that return. And is this going to be another cap for Starter? I think it
looks like it should be a cap. They're going back here. 2 things to watch in that play. One, great play by Ibu getting that 2-tick bandage off to try to help Muskie off. And then also a great shear by their Shaman on Starter on Fawcett, the closest Disc Priest to catch Muskie. Sheared him, wasn't able to get it off. Great play there as well, too, to help secure that. But it looks like Ardo actually does have a pick here. I didn't see him in the back. So they're sending Lenny right now, Berg and Bergphobia, both Berg phobias. The Autobots are rolling out here with Lenny Druid going in cat form, trying to get some pressure onto Ardo here. And this is great. They are buying some time. Oh, he's dead. Well,
yeah,
I mean, it's hard sometimes when you have Ferocious Bite. It's a tough game to get kills.
We're going into the replay really quick. Ardo just taking a ton of damage. Nature's Guardian does proc. Unfortunately, does get War Stomp on his heal. Does go down. I mean, that's very difficult to heal through. 2 Hunters and a Druid and cat form doing shreds. I mean, you just can't contest that DPS with your HPS. But yeah, again, a quick cap from Starter, and potentially if they can cap again in the next 12 minutes, they will be the winners of this game. Not looking good for Ozymandias. They seem to be doing fine in mid. Both teams are doing fine in mid, just kind of pressing each other. As I say that, however, Deputy F taking a lot of damage. Same with Beat This. Starter actually doing a lot of pressure onto Ozymandias. And right now, Ibu has died on the side of Ozymandias. Not that big of a deal, but really it seemed like both teams are again pressuring each other in mid.
Well, the nice thing about the Ibu kill was that Ibu was actually going for the flag. Lenny turned back, helped Phobia on what could have been a 1v1, made it a 2v1. They killed Ibu, and now they know more Muskie is. So Berg, Phobia, one of the Hunters, is staying back on defense, just trying to pester Muskie on this pick. They're buying themselves a lot of time, and notice this too. It looks like the Starter soon enough here we'll be able to get that pick with Lenny on the backside of the team now. Scope down, so he doesn't have anything to worry about. So they should be able to get the pick. If Muskie can get out here and meet his team, he's coming out ramp. He's got Ibu coming along. We know he's got bandages in stock, so keep an eye out there, but it looks like he's going to be A-okay, honestly. So see if Ozymandias can turn this into another cap.
Yeah, and Leninger just did pick up the flag, so I think he is. I don't know if anyone's on D to contest him. Certainly, one of the hunters from Ozymandias is not going to be there to contest him. Let's see where Scope is. Scope is actually going to be pushing into Lenny Druid. Going to probably get out some damage. I think that's who he's going for right now. Yeah, so Scope getting some damage onto Lenny Druid. I think Lenny Druid should be fine as he's met by some of his teammates, both hunters. Right now, though, Muskie Bad, this is kind of a weird situation. If Scope goes down right now, this is going to be really bad. Fortunately for Scope, he does get met by his Disc Priest, but Lenny Druid Muskie Bad forced you to push away a bit. That could have been very scary if Scope would have died. And even though it's only one stack right now, both those hunters firing into Muskie Bad. If that Priest didn't res at precisely that time, that would have been really scary.
An interesting call there by Muskie, and it was a great play at that point in time. The opposing hunter already had a Scope proc coming in, so the immediate heal he chooses to help Scope with was actually a bandage to kind of sustain that burst, and then he ended up going into a regrowth Swiftman, and it was actually important. He probably would have lost Scope if he wouldn't have played it that way, so good little mini play to help get his team some advantage on the map. As Ozymandias is trying to find some momentum in mid here, get some control, but at the end of the day, got to remember at this point, Ozymandias is the team down a cap, so playing on starter side of the field almost plays into not only their team's particular strong suit, but kind of the strong suit of having the GY advantage.
Yeah, starter. We've said this so many times before. Starter is super comfortable in that GY, so it's kind of like it's kind of like Pokemon, where the Pokemon do better in certain environments. Right now, starter is Charizard, and they're playing on top of a volcano. They're getting ready to explode. You don't want to fight them there.
And Ozymandias is trying to get their Great Ball to catch a Squirtle because they're in trouble right now. Yeah. Muskie Bad running up the side here. Looks like they have a good split here, and I like that they actually send Muskie Bad up here with no stacks. Very aggressive split. I love it. They got Zioni, Ibu, Scope, and Fawcett. So they got 2 healers up here, a lot of DPS. It looks like they're going to commit pretty much their full team to force him down at this point. I like this aggressive move. They've been having trouble with it in the GY. And look, Snug might even go down here, catching some heals off the res, but they're catching starter right now as they just come up as a full team res. Going to be interesting to see how they play this. Lenny Druid actually electing to stay up on the top of GY right now. So the problem with this, right, is that starter's at a huge disadvantage here. Reason being is that their BM Monk is never going to be able to get involved in this team fight, and it's something that people don't necessarily think about. And their Warrior's going to have a hard time too. So they almost waited too long. I would have liked to see them actually drop down earlier, but at some point or another, I think you are going to have to drop down either way. It's just I think you lost the element of surprise or a little bit of advantage there.
Well, OG List's doing as much as he can, throwing out those surging miss, and before he's throwing barrels, so he is kind of contributing. I think Lenny Druid might be opting to drop down in a few moments, especially as Ozymandias gradually pushes into this team. Lenny or Burgophobia actually dropping down. Same with Dr. Manny and Snug. Lenny Druid is probably going to displace her beast towards that relief hut, getting the war stomp off before that onto the melee. He is taking a lot of damage right now. Weird displacer beast pathing. That was really weird. He went sideways. I thought he was going to go straight. I don't know if he's trying to get a pass, but he's probably going to go down here, taking a ton of damage with 7 stacks. His healers are probably he's pumping heals into him. He needs to get a Aurora Sacrifice. He does go down. Flag does get picked up by Burgophobia. Probably will be going down in a second as well. Gets picked up by gets returned by Scope. So yeah, we're gonna go into a replay really quick. That Displacer Beast was so weird. I don't know if you saw that, Buns, but it's like he went sideways. Like I don't know if he intended to. He just Displacer Beast straight into the GY wall. And I think it would have been better if he just would have gone forward towards the relief hut.
I think that was just a huge positional disaster from the start because their BM Monk couldn't get involved in the play. He keeps backing up into the corner of GY, which takes his healers that are in the GY out of the play. Snug actually and Lenny getting a jump on Muskie Bad right now in the GY. They're going to get the kill. Great kill. So Berg getting the flag, trying to get some momentum, and the game's not over. It's 2-2. Ozzy gets to the last cap. But yeah, I think that you want to keep kiting out into midfield, pulling the DPS away from the healers. And Lenny kind of got just caught in the moment, and that happens at times. But if you can pull the DPS away from the healers, that gives yourself the best shot at trying to go for a counter wipe.
And Deputy F again forced to carry this flag, has been like the secondary FC throughout this series, taking a bit of damage right now in mid from Bergophobia and a few other people on Starter. He is just staying in bear form for as long as he can. He might meet up in a moment here with Muskie. It'd be a really risky pass, though, as there are a lot of people probably ready to intercept. And Muskie just throwing out the heals. WDF gradually trying to get back to his team's GY. I think they just need to push there as a team. I think he will be passing it off soon to Muskie. It looks like that's what they're trying to do. Muskie in cat form, right behind WDF. There they get the pass off. Never mind, they didn't get the pass. I just got juked, man. I'm getting juked all day. But Muskie now gets the flag. Okay, there we go.
A little bit of a mishandoff there. Something was going on in the handling there. It's 2-2, just to recap. 2-2, Ozymandias is up the cap. They're in their GY. They're in a pretty safe spot, but they are getting chain wiped in mid, and Muskie caught below. So if Starter can push up here really quickly, it could be an awkward situation for Muskie. He's just hiding behind his hut right now, and they have no front line. I see no reason for Starter not be able to dive. They see it too. They're going in. They're hungry for the Muskie steak, running into the corner of the map, getting slam dunked. Can he get a heal? The displacer, the pass to Ardo. He gets the pass up to GY. Can he get to line of sight? Get away from the warrior. Holy moly. That was insane. Muskie prayed to the gods before this game, the Twink gods, running away, displacing over, and Ardo with that pass, timely res. Whew.
I should note that Lenny Druid or WDF was trying to get something done on offense. Actually, Snug gets the return. Yeah. Is WDF there? Yeah, WDF is there for the pick. Yeah. So it's going to be a 1v1 right now. And this is a very comfortable position for Lenny Drew to be in. He already got that Moonfire off. I know it does. Oh, he just fell. But
feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man, with a gun. And WDF is able to make it to his hunter at ramp. Lenny Drew, he's running back towards. What is he doing? Where's he going? He's just taking unnecessary damage right now. Maybe I don't even know what's going on. Why did he do that?
Maybe a YOLO play from Scope here. No.
I got the flag! Hello, what is going on? Oh, dude, from the sky, you see Scope came out of nowhere.
Muskie's just screaming.
That was the craziest thing I think I've seen.
Dude, Muskie was just screaming in his grave like, grab the flag! And it just takes off on his Nikes, his Air Jordans rather, and flies to the flag. But yeah, I don't know. That kind of comes back to what we were saying, Deputy did a pretty good job this whole game, not being the true FC, but in that situation,